Joining me on this broadcast, I want to welcome AP Singh, now well known as the legal aid and advocate of Bhole Baba. We've got Arvind Kumar Jain, highly respected former Director General of Police in Uttar Pradesh. For political perspective, I have Juhi Singh, spokesperson of the Samajwadi Party. We've got Raghav Avasthi, who's a member of the Bharatiya Janata Party. We've got Suraj Yengde, he's a author on Dalit issues, writes a lot about caste, oppression, about Ambedkar. And we've got Dr. Shoaib Jamai, AIMIM Delhi State President. So I want to go across first and foremost to AP Singh. Mr. Singh, you're the legal aid of Bhole Baba. Now, 123 people have died on your client's watch. They came for satsang, which was organized by Bhole Baba. How do you explain why no action so far has been taken against him? He's got the blood of 123 people on his hands. The UP police doesn't seem to be interested in acting against him. He hasn't been found officially. God alone knows where he is. And even if he's got the patronage of the UP police and they're actually taking care of him, that isn't known in the public domain. Is he being sheltered only and only because of his caste?
No, it's a totally wrong allegation. Mr. Rahul Kanwal, he was a renowned journalist of India. Narayan Sakarhari Bhole Baba is totally innocent. That the Samagam was already end up before 30 to 35 minutes. He depart, Bhole Baba, Narayan Sakarhari already depart from 30 to 35 minutes earlier when this incident happened. A criminal conspiracy hatched against the Narayan Sakarhari, against Manav Mangal Milan Sadbhavna Samagam. And this criminal conspiracy is regular going on. Narayan Sakarhari was not named in FIR.
Who are you blaming? Who do you think is responsible? Who hatched a conspiracy against Bhole Baba?
Some anti-social elements who may disagree with the Sanatan, who may disagree with the Hinduism, who may disagree with the slogans, speech, spiritual preachers of Narayan Sakarhari, may anti-social element. It's a matter of investigation. Investigation is going on. I fully believe, I fully faith Narayan Sakarhari, Bhole Baba, fully faith upon the investigation of SIT, UP Police, administration, government of UP Police, as well as the commission headed by retired Honorable High Court Justice and member of retired IAS, retired IPS. I fully, Narayan Sakarhari is not going abroad. He have no any passport. It's a true. I am saying before your channel, renowned news channel. He will in India, he will in ashram, he will not in any hotel, he will not in any house, he will not will search and trace out at the any airport or anywhere. Okay. When in any investigation, I assure to you on behalf of you, he will join investigation as and when required by any investigation agency, by any commission, by any authority.
Okay.
Always, he's a.
Stay with me.
Position is that if he will come forward, I make.
Arvind Kumar Jain, you've been Director General of Police in Uttar Pradesh, the advocate for Narayan Hari, arguing quite predictably that the Baba did nothing wrong. I find it almost impossible to imagine that had this been someone else, and if his community wasn't quite as significant, and if politics wasn't important, if there weren't by-elections and later assembly elections, and if the BJP wasn't on a sticky wicket, that no action would be taken against him. Do you, from a legal perspective, leave politics aside for a moment, do you not think that Bhole Baba should at the very least have been officially questioned so far? That his name not being present in the FIR by itself is highly suspicious, and it seems that there is some kind of an orchestrated effort on at the moment to protect him.
Even I was very surprised when I found out that his name is not there in FIR. I tried to find out from the officers, and their viewpoint was that He had left the venue a few minutes earlier, and it is just like a VIP meeting, election meeting. Somebody comes and addresses and departs. So after that, if there is a stampede, will the speaker can be held accountable for it? This is the logic. This is not my logic, but
no,
this
do you
is
buy
the
the
logic.
sir? Forget, obviously the officers in duty at the moment have to say this because that's what they need to push out. Using all the wealth of experience and your credibility, do you find this acceptable that he's not even? I'm not saying arrest him at this moment. I'm saying at the very least formally question him, find out what happened, what the sequence of events was. So far, officially, he hasn't been questioned. Secondly, they're saying we're looking out for him. We don't know where he is. He's been doing interviews. He's doing interviews, so whenever he needs to appear, he's appearing. Thirdly, his name is not even there in the FIR.
FIR is always open-ended. Names can be added, names can be deleted during investigation. Investigation is being carried out by CO Kotwali Hathras, Ram Pravesh Rai, and 4 inspectors, a team of 4 inspectors. They are recording the statements, they are making the arrests, and they are doing the main job. This report of SIT and the name not figuring in FIR, I have already explained to you. I am told that notice was served for Suraj Pal by this 2-member commission headed by ADG Zone Agra. The notice was sent to DAM Hathras for serving it on Suraj Pal, but it couldn't be served. And till the time they submitted the report, he had not appeared before the
No, but isn't that perplexing by itself? That he's doing interviews, but this notice supposedly can't be served by the UP police. Is the UP police so inept and so incompetent that they don't know where Bhole Baba is at the moment?
I was told, I found out about it. I was told that he couldn't be traced and the notice could not be served on him. Now it will be the job of the investigators who are investigating the case to serve notice and to record his statement and to fix his culpability.
AP Jain साहब, AP सिंह साहब, ये तो जो यूपी पुलिस है वो कह रही है कि भोले बाबा मिल नहीं रहे, हम उनको नोटिस नहीं दे पा रहे हैं, भोले बाबा तो इंटरव्यू करते फिर रहे हैं. तो मुझे तो लग रहा है ये पूरी दाल में कुछ काला है. ये लोग मिले हुए हैं सारे, यूपी पुलिस इनको बचा रही है, भोले बाबा इंटरव्यू दे सकते हैं लेकिन समन रिसीव नहीं कर सकते. अगर ये इतने ही पाक साफ हैं तो ये अपने आप को पेश क्यों नहीं करते यूपी पुलिस के सामने? बोलिए, पूछ लीजिए मुझे जो पूछना है, क्यों भागते फिर रहे हैं?
नहीं, ऐसा नहीं. देखिए, आप यूपी पुलिस पे आरोप भी ना लगाएं, SIT पे ना लगाएं, दोनों की निगरानी. क्या आप ऑनरेबल हाई कोर्ट रिटायर्ड जस्टिस पर भरोसा नहीं करेंगे? क्या हमारी जुडिशरी पाक साफ नहीं है? क्या वो भी दाल में काली है? बिल्कुल नहीं है. ये कोई दाल में काली मामला नहीं है, ये कोई स्कैम नहीं है, कोई घोटाला नहीं है, कोई राजनीतिक प्रेशर नहीं है, कोई पॉलिटिकल रिवेंज. हमने अपनों को खोया है, हमारे मरने वाले अपने हैं, हम आयोजक हैं. देव प्रकाश मधुकर FIR में नामजद किया. मैं बड़ी जिम्मेदारी के साथ राहुल कंवल जी कहना चाहता हूं आपके इस प्लेटफॉर्म पर, मैंने कोई एंटीसिपेटरी बिल नहीं लगाई. कोई 438 एप्लीकेशन कोई लगाएं, कोई ऑनरेबल हाई कोर्ट से, ऑनरेबल सुप्रीम कोर्ट से अरेस्टिंग स्टे मांगे, कोई ट्रायल कोर्ट में सरेंडर एप्लीकेशन लगाए, मैंने नहीं लगाई. जैसे ही मुझे पता चला नाम में इसका आ रहा है और मैंने तुरंत उसे दिल्ली बुलाया. उसकी हालात खराब थी, उसके परिवार वालों ने कहा तो मर जाएगा, हार्ट पेशेंट है. कागज दिखाया, हमने कहा पहले इसे डॉक्टर को दिखाओ, डॉक्टर को चेकअप कराओ. कहीं अगर इसी हालात में हम पेश कर देंगे SIT के सामने, अगर उनके हाथों में जाके मर गया तो बेचारे उन पुलिस वालों की नौकरी जाएगी, उनके बच्चे वीरान हो जाएंगे. मैंने कहा झूठे वो फंस जाएंगे, कहा जाएगा कस्टडी डेथ दे दी, AP सिंह ने कोई साजिश कर दी, लॉस दे दी. लेकिन मैंने इसीलिए उसे पहले स्टेबल किया, स्टेबल के डॉक्यूमेंट लिया, डॉक्टर से ECG कराई. उसने कहा ठीक है. मैंने कहा इससे अधिक ECG अच्छी नहीं आ सकती, क्योंकि जो नाम इसका लिया गया देव प्रकाश मधुकर, ये आयोजक था. यही है, इसी ने दरिया, इसी ने कालीन, इसी ने जल व्यवस्था, इसी ने पंडाल व्यवस्था, सारा इसी ने किया. अपनी गाड़ियों पर ही लोगों को लाए और उन्हीं गाड़ियों पर फिर लाश लेके गए. लाशें भी हमारी, मरने वाले भी हमारे, आयोजक भी हमारे, हम ही आयोजक, हम पे जेल. नारायण साकारबरी हरि भी हमारे, उन्हीं पे आरोप लग रहा है.
हाउ इज दिस डिफरेंट,
बात की जा रही है
मिस्टर जैन, फ्रॉम अ केस ऑफ अ सिनेमा बर्निंग इन दिल्ली where the management and the owners of that cinema hall were hauled over the coals, prosecuted, action taken against them because the lapse happened on their watch. They were not there watching the film at the time. But for many years, cases ran against them. Their names were in the FIR. You know, you are trying to spin it in different ways. The fact is there are enough and more instances. For example, during the COVID, when at a madrasa in Delhi, orphans were not being taken care of in keeping with COVID protocols, the Maulvi who ran that particular madrasa was acted against. Like, at least his name was there in the FIR and action was taken against him. Ultimately, he got away is a different matter, but at least an effort was made to act against him. You know, how is this different from the management of a cinema which is held responsible if people die on their watch?
It's different in one way, one very obvious way. Initially, the family members of the people who died during Samagam, who got injured, they were recorded. Statements of the relatives were recorded. And till the time SIT prepared the report, none of the witnesses, they deposed against Suraj Pal. And now I am told that one by one they are coming forward and their statements are being recorded by investigators. And I hope that action will be taken on the basis of those statements.
Suraj Yangde, you know, how much of a role does caste have to play in this, you know, and why? I just want to explain this to our viewers. The Jatav community to which Bhole Baba belongs is very crucial because this is a Mayawati's core vote bank. A lot of the non-Jatav votes in the Lok Sabha elections shifted away from the BSP to the Congress and to the Samajwadi Party as part of the India Alliance. Therefore, the last thing the BJP would want is for the Jatavs also to start shifting away. He's an influential figure in the community. If action is taken against him, it can be perceived as being unfair and it can have political consequences. Is that really, Suraj Yangde, what's at play? Is that why Bhole Baba has extra political protection?
It's good to see you, Rahul. My heart goes out to the bereaved families. It's a very tragic incident, and it is nevertheless not the first incident that we are seeing. It's been spate of such kind of stampedes and death of people, even if they go for the spiritual tour and they face the wrath of nature. In this case, it's very unfortunate that the angle of caste has come, which it should not have been technically, because when people go and seek out a certain kind of a spiritual reckoning, people across different castes go. The god men and the god women come from different castes, most of them, and we have a hit list of people who claim to be god men, from Asaram, Nityanand to Rampal to Gurmit Singh, Ram Rahim, and so forth. Now, what happens in this case, in fact, if you bring the caste angle, especially Jatav community, Mayawati herself has called out it as a ridiculous, superstitious, and hypocritical kind of faith that people put it, and she's advised her own community to pay attention and to follow a certain rationalist path. I'll just give an example of my own family to just make a sense of it. You know, I grew up in a Dalit colony, which is an alias for Dalit slum. And my dad was bedridden for nearly 18 years, so that means the sole breadwinner couldn't bring in any. So what did she do? She sought out for an alternative way to really understand what could be done. And so whenever she took us to various babas and various avenues to try to really find out what she could do, all she went there was asking for the recovery of her husband and welfare of her children. And when we see the women who are flocking to venues like this, there is a certain element of this. But somehow this gets noted into a superstitious act of blind faith. I was in Punjab last year in the scorching heat, and as people know, Punjab's heat is terrible. And there was a Christian congregation, mostly from the subaltern caste people, congregating there. So there is an element of state apathy. The death that happened, the state administration was really ill-equipped. The hospitals were running without fan, and they were not really prepared.
Okay.
Had this been an incident, Rahul, of from dominant caste communities and the VIP babas that we see with their flashy VIP securities and cordons offered by the state government, it would have been different. And here, just because it happens to be a Dalit and supposed to be a popular figure, the state is now hiding itself, and it should just, and also the kind of...
So you're saying that action should be taken, that the state is hiding itself because he comes from a subaltern caste. But Raghav Avasthi, the whole premise of the current UP administration is that you're tough on law and order and that no one is above law. But the fact that because you burnt your hands in the UP Lok Sabha elections, you're now so singed by that reality that you just don't want to go after this so-called godman And despite everything, all the supporters who are now speaking against him, despite the fact that the deaths happened on his watch, no, zero actions been taken against him so far. You're on mute, Raghav.
Yeah, so there are 2 or 3 points here to unpack. The first point that I would like to make is that I, for one, believe that the BJP, given the fact that it has won 4 state elections, UP did put up a very good performance. I, for one, don't believe that the performance is as bad as it is being made out to be. Secondly, you made a very interesting point about Upar. I would really like to unpack that a little. So, of course, when you are running a cinema theatre, there are certain regulations that you have to follow. And if those regulations are not followed, then there are statutory laws under which the owner, whoever is in charge, can be held. This gathering cannot be compared to a movie.
No, it can, because there are lots of regulations which you're supposed to follow when you organize an event of this nature. This Bole Baba said that 80,000 people will come, 2.5 lakh people came, much more than the number that they'd taken permission for. And a lot of the things that had to be put in place, like ambulances, like fire tenders, all those weren't in place. So the basic preventive measures which should have been put in place were also not put in place. So there's a lot that the Baba has to answer for.
There are 2 points to be made. First, of course, is that you are saying that if let us say there is an imaginary prosecution that is trying to make a case that these deaths were caused because of rash and negligent behavior of the organizer. Now, if the organizers or the organization committee has a legal personality which is distinct from that of this gentleman, this Babaji, then there is no way that he can be held vicariously liable for what has happened. And this is assuming that there are some regulations or some statutory regulations that were not followed. As of now, we don't know about it. We don't even know if there are any statutory regulations that provide for fixing of liability upon somebody who is not even responsible for making the arrangements. We have to look at it because the Baba and the organizing committee, for all we know, might have 2 distinct personalities. And in any criminal act, it's necessary, and Mr. Singh might agree with me here, it's necessary to attribute mens rea. There has to be guilty intent.
Dr. Shoaib Jamai, do you buy this? That the Baba is not responsible for organizing the event, the organizers are responsible and therefore they should be blamed, therefore you can't blame the Baba. This has nothing to do with caste or his followers.
Rahul, good evening to all of you. Remember the time when there was a corona outbreak?
Yes, I just mentioned it.
Yeah. When Maulana Saad from Markaz Nizamuddin was framed for the spreading of the coronavirus, and see, at that time, the media going gaga against him, the pro-BJP machineries have worked against him. You might have remembered the whole those time when some Muslim cleric or the Muslim religious person have such kind of situation. Suppose that if this Baba was a Muslim, then you will see a different angle of SIT, then you will see a different kind of treatment by Uttar Pradesh police, then you will see the different kind of treatment by the media itself. So yes.
Sir, media kya? हम तो वही सवाल पूछ रहे हैं. No, don't be unfair. Don't be unfair. What does the media have to do with this? I'm asking the same question, which is why we're doing this discussion.
I'm not talking only about Rahul. It's not only meant for the India Today or anything. It's about the whole machinery.
Okay, let Raghav Avasthi respond directly to that charge from Shoaib Jamai that had this been a religious leader from some other religion which was antagonistic towards your party, the attitude of the government and the police would have been very different.
Look, Rahulji, it is very difficult to manage such large gatherings. And recently we read news in the international media and the New York Times that a lot of people died during the Hajj pilgrimage also because of extreme weather conditions. So you cannot, make everything about religion. It can't be about religion. Yes, there are crowd arrangements that have to be in place. And we have to see whether there are any extant laws that were violated. But to say that just because somebody is addressing that gathering, he has to be held responsible. And
Sir, the fact is, in the way that things are at the moment, had this happened somewhere else, by now bulldozers would have landed up at all ashrams. There's not a single bulldozer at any ashram anywhere in Uttar Pradesh.
I'm going to talk about the law as I know it, whatever meager knowledge that I have. Vicarious liability can be fixed in a tort case. Unless if you want to attribute some sort of a criminal misdemeanor, either you have to show that there is some sort of guilty intent on the part of this gentleman, or you have to somehow show that there was some criminal conspiracy to make sure that these deaths took place. So that would be utterly ridiculous. Without that, just to use this as a stick to beat this gentleman with or this community with,
Okay.
that is not
Now,
right.
let me go across to Juhi Singh. Juhi ji, even the opposition has been wishy-washy. Akhilesh Yadav, your leader, when he was asked this question, he said, "Nahi, nahi, ye sab mat pucho. You know, we are sad that these deaths happened, but he's not going after the Baba either." So is it because you got a part of the Jatav vote, you got a lot of the non-Jatav Dalit vote in Uttar Pradesh, and you want to hold on to that in the assembly elections, you want that in the by-polls, which is why you aren't taking a clear position on this?
Rahul, I do know that this entire congregation was attended by economically weaker sections of the people. I do not know their caste. I have not done a caste census there. But I also know, I heard it, that the ADG zone is sending some summons and the district magistrate is unable to deliver. The SSP is sleeping and some lower level officers are carrying on investigation. This entire Hathras incident is due to government indifference, criminal negligence and their complete
No,
lack
that's
of
a vanilla cookie
certain
cutter
allegations
answer.
have
I'm
to be
asking
made.
you a specific question. Juhi Singh, in your
That's
view,
what
is the Baba responsible
I'm
or not?
asking.
Answer my direct question. Does the Baba, just one second, does the Baba have any culpability or not? Answer my question, Juhi Singh.
I'm answering you that the administration is responsible, the Home Secretary is responsible, the DGP is responsible, the ADG is responsible, the district magistrate who's been completely out of the picture is responsible because they gave the permission. They were supposed to know that 2.5 lakh people did not just appear out of the air. So was the district administration sleeping, no ambulances were there, 122 people are dead. And if you find it convenient to ask a particular question, Rahul, I don't find it necessary to really remind you.
No, but
that
that's
what
the
we
point
are
I'm making
looking for
because
is
it's
justice for those people.
No, but that's just being politically careful, not wanting to antagonize communities. This Baba, live life king size. He lords over 100 crore rupee empire.
No.
He's got ashrams spread across Uttar Pradesh, Rajasthan, a fleet of luxury cars, a massive personal security convoy. How did a former UP police constable turn godman amass such massive wealth? There's a lot to be investigated. If the police is serious, take a look at this report. If the police wants to get its claws into this case, there's a lot that they can investigate.
This is not so Bhole Baba's umpire of faith in Mainpuri. Surajpal, aka Narayan Sakar Hari, aka Bhole Baba, the man behind the large religious gatherings at Hathras that ended in a deeply stampede, owns assets worth over 100 crore rupees that include 22 swanky ashrams across Uttar Pradesh and Rajasthan, equipped with AC rooms and plush interiors. He travels in a convoy of 15 to 30 vehicles led by 16 commandos in black fatigues. This ashram is Bichwa, Mainpuri, built on 21 bighas of land on the Aligarh GT road, is said to be worth crores. The ashram has a luxurious mansion for the Baba and a garage to keep all his luxury cars. With this expansive estate, 6 rooms are exclusively reserved for him and his wife. Apart from Mainpuri, Surajpal or Bhole Baba also has ashrams in Kashganj, Agra, Kanpur, Shahjahanpur and Gwalior as well. India Today visited the Baba's ashram in Kanpur.
Right behind me is the Singhasan of the Baba and the Devi Ma, which you can clearly see how beautifully it has been decorated, just like it's a Singhasan, the throne of any Rajput ruler or a Mughal ruler. And you can clearly see the Baba sitting there. Alongside is his wife, which they call the Devi Ma. Not just that Singhasan, that throne, but also you can clearly see that some signals quite here, and these jhulas are also placed here. So these are the things which in a way makes it a different ashram.
Dressed in white suits and shoes and colourful ties, Bhole Baba teaches humanism while flaunting expensive watches and flashy sunglasses. Sevadars call him God. Believers say that he is an avatar of Paramatma.
रंगोली से मिट्टी उठानी होती है.
आते हैं जहाँ से निकलते उठा कोई से मस्तिष्क इसमें लगाता है, कोई घर ले जाता है। सिस्टम ये है, चरण राज वो किसी के उनके नजदीक कोई जा ही नहीं पाता है।
अवतार मानते हैं बाबा को?
हम तो परम सत्ता मानते हैं।
साजिश मानते हैं? साजिश मानते हैं?
साजिश में ही लोग बता रहे हैं।
कितने साल पहले बनाए?
ये 2-3 साल हो गए।
3 साल हो गया। आप लोग हर रोज सेवा देते हैं यहाँ पे?
यहाँ साफ सफाई होती है।
क्या होता है
यहाँ मंगल दर्शन करके चले जाते हैं, बस साफ सफाई होती है।
गाना भजन भी होता है?
नहीं, कुछ नहीं होता।
स्पीकर रखे हैं बड़े बड़े पीछे?
वो ऐसा रख दिए गए हैं, लेके आएंगे व्यवस्था के लिए।
The man who describes himself as the deity of the poor and marginalized lives life king size. Bureau Report, India Today.
Mr. Arvind Jain, isn't this something that should be investigated? Here is a former Uttar Pradesh police constable who at this moment seems to have an empire worth at least 100 crore rupees. You know, surely the UP police should think this is a matter that needs to be investigated. How did he amass such wealth?
Yes, it should be investigated in my opinion. It should be investigated. And if there are allegations of encroaching on government land or Gram Sabha land, then those pieces of land should be got freed from this person.
No, but that requires an investigation. That requires that
Yes.
Bhole Baba be questioned. So far, he hasn't even been questioned. The police in UP can't
agree.
even find him.
I agree with you.
But television
I agree
cameras
with
can
you.
find him. They can do interviews with him, but the UP police can't find him.
I don't know whether the chief investigator, CEO Kotwali, has summoned him or not. I'm not aware of it. But he should be summoned. His statement should be recorded, because only after his speech this stampede took place. So he has to own up, and he has to give an explanation for all this.
AP Singh, यूपी पुलिस का कांस्टेबल 100 करोड़ का साम्राज्य कैसे बना लेता है भाई?
टोटल रॉन्ग, टोटल गलत। अगर मैं आपके राहुल जी आपके इंडिया टुडे चैनल पर अगर 100 करोड़ का 1 करोड़ का भी साम्राज्य नारायण साकाररी भोले बाबा का हो तो मैं उसको गवर्नमेंट ऑफ इंडिया के आपदा राहत में डोनेट कर रहा हूं।
So he's got 23 massive, luxurious, expansive ashrams.
No, they are followers. समझिए आप, जो डिस्ट्रिक्ट यूनिट होती है, जिले की यूनिट है, जो उनकी समाज सद्भावना समागम समिति है, उनका आयोजन है, उनके आश्रम है, उनका तन मन धन लगकर जो बनाते हैं उसी का आयोजन करते हैं, उसी से आश्रम बनाते हैं, उनके आश्रम हैं। वो केवल सतिथि, अतिथि और सतिथि के रूप में जाते हैं। और
Now who owns the ashrams? So who owns? ये जो इतनी गाड़ियां दौड़ती हैं पीछे पीछे, who owns these ashrams?
नहीं है।
Who owns these ashrams? Who owns those cars?
Followers, उनके अनुयायी हैं पूरे। He is not owner of that luxurious vehicles, cars. They related with the other followers. They related with the other persons which are very much spiritually.
So first you tell us that his followers are the poorest of the poor, the most backward of the backward, and then somehow, you know, those images from Mainpuri on our screen, fancy luxurious SUVs, this massive ashram. I mean, if they are truly the poorest of the poor, how do they have these big ashrams? Surely that's something that needs to be investigated, and that's something your client needs to answer for.
It is not a matter poorest, because it is not only matter of they belong to Dalit, Shoshit, Vanchit. That's why a question asking by the different political parties is not a matter of political anti-revengeful matter. It is a matter of sympathy. It is a matter of sympathy. It is not time of political. He never asked any note, any vote. He never asked. Rahul ji, it is a matter of record during February to June, during election code of conduct going on. 18th parliamentary election was going on. During this period, he strictly said that no any samagam will be organized during this period. If he was very much interested in politics or any party or any other party or any party, so they should organize February, March, April, May is the peak time of election. He never organized. Any samagam was not conducted. That's why after February to June, no organization, any organization organize any samagam, any satya ka saath, any madam mangal malan sadbhavna samagam in any state or any district. He only resides.
Okay. No,
In the
isn't this, Jui Singh,
But
a question
some
that you should be
political
wanting to
parties
ask in the opposition? Ki, 23 ashrams, how did they come? This fleet of luxury cars, how did they come? How did he get them?
Rahul, I think
Cars,
we can
ashram,
ask them and they
land.
can investigate. First, let us give justice to the people who are dead and how did this happen? Why was the administration sleeping? What is the SIT which is constituted going to really report? Let's just give justice to this, be respectful to our dead, and then of course you can inquire, you can put ED, you can put income tax. Is the police really, does it have, if you're talking of legal terms, of course that doesn't exist in UP. I thought they were supposed to really take into account all this, and district administration was again sleeping, that he was building this ashrams on allegedly land which was occupied, the cars which were bought. Just check who the cars belong to. This is a matter of the government. So the government was really not doing anything. They are taking everything for granted. The bulldozer, as you say, sometimes I don't think the law of the land is followed. Jahan marzi aati hai, the bulldozer goes.
Okay. Raghav Awasthi, respond to this. Jahan marzi aati hai.
On the government's watch.
Jahan marzi aati hai, wahan bulldozer jata hai. Otherwise, suddenly you are very worried about the spirit of the law.
There are two quick points that have to be made. First of all, the Samajwadi Party has a very bad record when it comes to crowd control. All of us remember what happened in the Kumbh Mela. And I think Mr. Azam Khan was the chief of the organizing committee. So it is very, very difficult to control these large crowds. I am saying that if at all there has been any violation of any extent laws, rules, regulations, etc., that has to be remedied. The second thing is that Mr. Akhilesh Yadav, with due respect to him, he seems to be a big devotee of the Baba, because I was going through his ex-timeline and he was writing something about Narayan Sakar Hari ki Jai Ho. So if he's a big devotee of the Baba, we should also ask him as to if there is any patronage that has been extended to him by businessmen or affluent people who are close to Akhilesh Yadav ji.
Take into account and what happened on your watch. You can ask anybody you want.
Thirdly, if there are Hindu Babas, it is really unfortunate.
But
it is really unfortunate. They conduct a lot of charitable activities and they take healthcare and education and so many facilities that the state, in all fairness, has failed to provide its citizens over the last 70 odd years. And whenever there is something like this that happens, Hindu Babas are always, pilloried. Like if there are 400 or 500 people dying in a country which has a much higher per capita income than us, that is Saudi Arabia, because of extreme weather conditions and no arrangements are made, nobody...
No, but there is no comparison, sir. This is mismanagement. Extreme weather conditions is a different fact. The fact that they're all let me just tell our viewers what happened. They were all clamoring to get a bit of the soil. Baba ki dopair ki dhool chahiye thi unko. They wanted the soil on which the Baba walked, which is why Suraj Yengde, there was this clamor the moment the Baba left, and the Baba is not saying, don't, this is not right, don't come after this, please. There's a lot that the Baba could have said and done, and when he found out that people had died, he could have come back to try and ensure that he was helping out with the rescue effort. He's not done any of this. He's finished his sermon and he's bounced.
I think, Rahul, the angle of religion and caste is as much as important, but all the religion in India, be it Christianity, be it Islam, be it the Hindu, the Brahminical religion, the subaltern religion among the Hindus, as well as the other faith who have organized around this crookedness of superstition are responsible for it. You go to any of these avenues and you will find such. And it's very interesting that the leaders, especially who swore by their own religious affiliation, have somehow bowed. Akhilesh Yadav is one of them who bows to all the Hindu kind of priests and so forth. The statecraft is there. But only here we should pay attention to the rationality that Indian Constitution promotes. And Mayawati really singles out as somebody who calls it out. She doesn't make it, even though it is a person from the Jatav community, but there is a certain kind of scientific temperament which she brings, and she says this is a superstition, hypocrisy, and advises people to stay away from this people.
That's true.
This is to focus attention.
In fact, the irony is that Mayawati is the one who could potentially lose the most, because these are essentially her voters, yet she's asking for action to be taken against this Baba. She's saying that this is blind faith and that's a problem. the others who may or may not get the Jata vote, I mean, they're hoping to get the vote, but the Jatas don't typically vote for them. They are the ones who are being very careful कि आता vote कहीं चला ना जाए. अभी Congress और SP को मिला है, they don't want to lose it, and BJP hopes to get it, and therefore there's a lot of politics taking place. It is as visible as daylight. No matter what any of the guests have said, the fact that they're going soft on this Baba, there are questions. I mean, there are things he probably isn't responsible for, but there are multiple questions, piercing questions that can be asked, action that needs to be taken. What are the land records? Who owns these ashrams? How did he build them up? How did he amass so much wealth? Those are questions that need to be asked. Why did he not come back once these people died? If he is actually their spiritual leader, isn't his first instinct to actually come back and see why these people died, what can be done, try and help out? Aren't those basic instincts? Why is he just run away? Why is he not accepting summons? Very serious questions if the state government and the state police intends to ask those questions.